Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Elathrix, and of course, welcome back to a video which is being recorded at currently 3 AM because I simply can't sleep. There's a lot going on in real life at the moment. I am just a bundle of stress, and so I think the best way to make do with everything going on is to have a beer or two, which I may have already started, and try and play some adventure mode. So what we're going to be doing today is just trying our best to increase the look of this craft to make it a little bit more like a usual ship, rather than the wedge it is currently. And the first thing I want to do is try to round off the edges a little bit just by adding an extra layer. Also, why have I not added these to favourites? That would have made life far, far quicker. There we are. And by quicker, I mean easier. So, there we are. Good enough. And yeah, just going to round that off a little bit more as well to make that a little bit sturdier. And we're going to continue north today. Let's see if we can find a green portal or some resource zones, or some enemies we want to fight. Now, after the last video, I asked what type of weapons should I use on this craft, and I got a lot of suggestions. Cram cannons, being a particularly high fan favourite, we could always go with EMP pellets for once. I'm not a massive fan of cram EMP, and the problem is how long the shell takes to get to the target. By the time it's there, we might already be at the enemy, so disabling the weapons before we get there is good. Disabling them when we're already there, we're already missing our nose, so that's not really the best. Although just general cram cannons, of course, are truly fantastic. Using advanced cannons, once again for EMP, or perhaps just regular rapid-fire advanced cannons, which are a favourite of mine, very much on the table. But also, a lot of people just wanted to see more missiles, which I am very, very thankful for, because I'm very tempted to have a serious amount of firepower in the form of a true load of EMP missiles. Now, we only will use this in a proper fight, with the front weapons being the go-to for smaller fights, just to disable a few weapons here and there, and then we'll have the capability to completely disable much larger vessels, or at least deal some damage to them if they have surge protectors and everything else, through some side weapons. But first, I'll need way more armor. Honestly, I need more armor regardless. I'm still using wooden armor because I'm a dum-dum and I just like how it looks, honestly. And I will be swapping, though, over to metal. Well, I already have on the inside. So, let's just continue with this for now. I wondered what was going on there. Apparently, we've hit a lovely bit of waves again. Fantastic. A truly lovely sight, we have a green portal, which of course we're going to go directly towards. Now, as regards to weapons, after reading the comments, it seems like pretty much every weapon has a decent amount of support. So what I'm thinking about is a lot of EMP missiles, which we will not use every single fight, although each missile is only costing us was it 360 ammo, so however much that is converted into raw resource, which isn't actually that much with the ammunition processor, it's still very expensive if we're constantly firing them off when we don't particularly need to. So I think I will go with that option for now, because it's a nice easy thing to add to the craft. But then we will be going with mortars as a heavy weapon, and then eventually advanced cannons as well against lighter aircraft, because we do need to be a fair bit of a jack of all trades. Now to fill in this side, because I just filled in the other side a second ago. There we are. Let's try not to go into the red portal. And what a lovely start, instantly lowering the difficulty once again. Eventually, of course, we will want to go into higher difficulty just to get more resource, but our craft is not ready for that just yet. Now, the reason why I don't want to go with crams straight away is because I still want to stick with the ramming idea, and we want to keep the enemy quite alive before we get there, but we want to try and disable it. And although the EMP is fantastic, cram shells are so slow that we could have problems with hitting the target before we reach them. So they could be fighting us all the way, and missiles instead could quite easily disable them. Now, to be fair though, normal cram cannons don't have so much of a problem compared with mortars, but even so, missiles have a good guarantee of hits. We don't need to have the detection system fully finished up yet. There's a lot of positives to just go with missiles for now. Plus, I'm trying to avoid missiles in the normal campaign, and since I'm not following any rules here, it's a nice excuse to use them again, which does make me very happy indeed. First thing though, what I really want to do is extend this section, our superstructure. I want to bring it way further forwards, and honestly, I want to make this a bit less pointy. I would love this to be far less extreme. If you recall, this is built in a bit of a speedy fashion. So let's sit here while the waves are nice and calm. Oh, another green, fantastic. And let's see if we can make this look a bit better. Also want these to be vertical instead, perhaps. So what I've decided I'd like to do is to keep this quite ramshackle. I really love the idea of ramshackle craft, but rarely do I do them well. I tend to make them just look bad. And that's a difficult line, really, to try and go with. Can you build something which looks good, while still looking like you have truly built it out of multiple craft, while you've been scrapping? Because, again, it is somewhat difficult to do, at least with my level of building skill. So what I'm thinking is, we attach the vertical spin blocks. Also, why are we still moving? There we are. We attach the vertical spin blocks somewhat like this. So this will attach to this. So it looks like this has been placed on top. Then this front bit is one craft. The back is another craft. So at least we have 3 craft, which have all been used in the construction of this horrifying, horrifying vehicle. As it snows. And the waves are back. Okay, move forward, please. We are exiting the calm zone and entering hell. This is going to be a bit extreme, isn't it? If we go with this. Now, you can actually put spin blocks on spin blocks now. The idea is, of course, we just layer up the spin blocks, and then on this section of heavy armor, I've decided, we can just have rams. This way, all of this front section is just really, really deadly, and we can quickly saw through pretty much anything. The spin block itself also has heavy armor. The problem is this is going to weigh an absolute ton. So we'll see how much this weighs us down. We can, of course, just add more hydrofoils again, so at least we're stable whilst moving. And we could have these spinning... well, they're going to be spinning vertically, but spinning, like, up. And that should help us out, right? Once again, have had a few beers. No, the problem is it more pushes us backwards, which actually makes a lot more sense. So let's just have one going backwards, one going forwards, and that should be able to balance us out a little bit. We'll figure that out as we go. I've also decided I'm not going to have the spin blocks on spin blocks. I've had bad experiences with that in the past, although it's perfectly viable. I would much rather have them all attached to their own metal beams. Okay, the weight of this thing is so extreme, I've had to add some heavy armor to the back of this craft. And I'll likely have to do some PID work as well to make sure it's stable, but this will be very stable, very sturdy, and we'll be able to shred most enemies fairly easily. Really, really basic system. I'm actually using control blocks right now, essentially telling the vehicle, if you go below 0 degrees pitch, turn on those 2 propellers. Really, really simple. Though actually I do want it to be slightly aimed down, though I doubt it's going to beat those thrusters at the back. Cool, cool. That just means it'll be stable whilst it's still, and then we're going to add hydrofoils so it can't dip below this point anyway. We do actually want a very slight incline regardless. Added way more hydrofoils. Lovely, as you can see, it bounces along the water now rather than dipping. It's actually more stable than it has been in a while, but that's pretty much the angle we want. A slight decline. Now, one thing we could do is have all these spin blocks go in one direction. That would force us either up or down when we hit the target, but instead I think I'm going to stick with just this. Then what I'm going to want is lots and lots of rams just covering up the pieces of armor, and then I'll build this up and down on each section. Really, this should be a bit further back. We want the spin blocks to stick out a bit further. Also, I think I may have done them slightly incorrectly. We are turning... No, we're not. Maybe we are. I can fix that later. That's one of the good things about this. It is very, very fixable later, just changing a few numbers around. And I'm not good with numbers at the best of times. So how do we want to do this then? Normally I'd add an angle, but obviously you want to add the rams to this. So I'm thinking is just do it like this. Got heavy armor on the outsides than regular metal on the inside, just because of weight and the cost of the thing. The outside is more likely to be hit as we're moving towards a target, well, from the sides, obviously. And the heavy armor can help defend all of the other pieces. At least, that's my thought on the matter. Okay, next up, what I'm going to do is add a missile system to the front here. Right now, although this missile system here is perfectly serviceable, the problem is it drags things into the center of the craft. What we want is to drag things into the nasty spinny bladey bit, because the nasty spinny bladey bit is the bit with the blades and the nastiness. Still a little bit far back, but there we are. They've now got a slight start delay, so they're definitely going to be way higher up before they go ahead. And they are closer to the spin blocks, though could still be a bit further towards the spin blocks. This puts them a little bit safer away. Then we still have these two glitchy ones, which I'm probably going to replace for just pure EMP, and they're just going to be a backup now. I don't really want to remove them because I've just had them for too long, and I kind of love how glitchy they are. Movement is fine. We're a little bit slower now because, well, I've got way more mass without adding any extra propulsion, but we're now way more deadly. So that's good. So what I need then is somewhere here to sit. I'm thinking I'll just build it into where I'm already normally standing, which is safe, which is something I don't currently have, and has one of these, the fire control computer. So from here, I'm able to control every single weapon on the craft, and if I set them to different numbers, it means I can fire them all independently. Okay, we've moved out of the storm once again. So let's build up a basic area to sit. I'm still a bit nervous because enemies will be spawning in very soon. We are not really moving all that much. And the grace period of safety is rapidly moving away. Instantly remove the missiles I just said I was going to keep. Because I'm just that consistent. So what I'm going to do is add some missiles to the side of this thing instead. Still facing forwards in remembrance of those two, but yeah, I really want this to be a lot more protected than the old version, and the missiles were taking up so much space, it was very, very difficult to do. Not impossible, but we're not running on unlimited time here. That is one of the big issues. And I refuse to go into the creative mode and practice all this stuff. That's why it all looks so rough. And then just keep on bringing that back. Maybe if I can get it the right way around, of course. If I can use the right block, of course. Then we can sit there, we can add some glass to make it look nice, make sure I have somewhere I can jump out of nice and easily. We're still in range of the Heartstone, which is good. This center section actually has very little in it, except for the Heartstone now, which is really good because we can armor that up and use it for anything we want. But for now, let's just stick with this. Then we can bring this metal and also attach it to the sides. The missiles will go either here or here. Once again, trying to make it look like this top section and the blades are almost separate, and then the hull perhaps is out of two separate pieces. Now, you may be wondering why I'm even placing where I'm going to sit so far ahead of everything else. And it's simply because I want to be able to jump out and board the enemy if we can every single fight. So, going all the way back here, it's just too long to get from there all the way to the front, and by then, especially if the enemy AI is dead, it's just going to start disintegrating, and that is not what I want in the slightest. Oh, also, the camera is another way you can glitch out, turn on third-person mode. So yeah, this is the final time I'm going to ask this. It seems like most people agree I should just be able to use third-person mode because it makes for more interesting fights. I can watch what's going on, I can manually control the vehicle still, and it just makes the whole video look better. But is there any strong opposition for me activating third-person mode? So far, it's been majorative in the favour, but tell me. If you don't like it, tell me in the comments. For now, I will be using it until I see how people feel about this. But this way, I can stay inside the cockpit without using those very static cameras, which can cause the problem of just making the whole fight so dull to watch. Worth mentioning, though, I will avoid doing something like this and just flying off to see the enemy, or scout ahead, for instance. Let's go back. I will avoid doing that. Regardless. This thing is starting to look evil from the top. Yep, third person also allows me shots like this, so again, I'll try to not use it to cheat. Oh god, the turning has been so destroyed. Oh my god, that's how long it takes to turn. I have no idea what the enemy is, by the way. I've just decided, yep, we're going towards it, because I want to. Seems like the enemy is under attack by another enemy. Interesting. Well, let's fire these away. It's a very small enemy there. But what we're after, yep, is one of the deep water guard flyers. Is that one of the things with the nukes? I'm almost certain that is. Okay, those flares don't have the capability to stop radar shots, but what we're going to need to add right now is a simple weapon to try and stop that other enemy. So what we're going to do is set this to control slot 2. Okay. So now we're only using the small gun. We're going to actually stop still right now. We're just going to try to take this thing out before it reaches us. Yeah, it's definitely a thing with the nukes. I'm certain of it. Come on, let's hit one of those nukes on the front. There we go. And the enemy has been countered. And all of our scouting was still done by missiles, so that's fine. Speaking of which, let's fire them all as we continue on our journey. Okay, it's firing cram at us. Firing the missiles, so following the missiles. It does have flares, but they're not for the radar. And by the looks of things, that was enough to take it out of the sky, just one of them. Ooh, maybe not. Might need to fire again. Need more winches. Definitely going to change these missiles as soon as this fight's over. That much is clear. I wanted to have the minimum, but this clearly isn't even the minimum. Larger missiles and more winches, that's what we need. Got ya. Still having a bit of trouble. Oh, hello. Must be a faster way of doing this to get into third person. There we are. Firing our single anti-aircraft weapon. And now we have to reload. Did I mention we need more wind? Oh no, actually, in this case, we need more engine power. That's draining all of our engine power. This is just really good at keeping in the air, it seems. Ow. Seems to be dragging us up a little bit itself. Can you reload faster, please? Note to self, EMP would be fun right now. I'll be re-adding EMP as well. Can you fire directly up? Because that would be really handy right now. You basically can, excellent. So it turns out I have a lot more control about where my weapon aims than I originally thought. So if I wanted to go for this propeller, for instance, now as soon as it's reloaded, I'm currently holding down the fire, it's basically locked to where I was looking. So as soon as that is reloaded, in 1 second, there we go, going directly for that one propeller, which should cause all sorts of problems for it. There we are. Let's try and tip it on its side. Oh, could you not hit me on the side? That would be great. Go to where the missiles are. That would be so much better. There we are. I haven't armored up the side of the spin block yet. Oh, I completely forgot. Well, take this. Well, it took a while, but here we go, finally. Goodbye. It's like I'm using some kind of lawnmower. And 2 damaged. I'm taking all your resources. Probably should have tried to actually get that, you know, in terms of capture it, but still, we got 20,000 resources from that, and we lost one of our spin blocks because I forgot I haven't armored up the side of them yet. So they're really vulnerable. That spin block has, like, no health. Oh, we have plenty of space here. Excellent. So that's the heavy armor I added earlier to try and act as a bit of a counterweight. So remove this wooden armor, then this whole line here can be EMP missiles. Then we can add some proper armor to both sides. Okay, there's an enemy over there. It is a monkey barrel, I'm almost certain of it. So, that is beautiful. Complete waste of ammo, but really beautiful. Oh yeah, need to add target prediction. Might want these a little bit bigger. Maybe not, since there's so many of them. It's hard to tell. Oh, and just one of them was needed, and it is AI dead. We have a kill. Lovely. Okay. So those are going to function just fine against smaller enemies, so we could have easily killed the enemy we were holding on to earlier. Now, to re-edit the front missiles, then I might need some more engine power. And more jets. More everything, honestly. Just continue to build. Another enemy has been located. The scouting missiles say it is the Grendel. I have no idea what the Grendel is, and so far it's not really in view. Okay, there it is. We really should go into a more difficult area. These are not really testing us. I'll just continue to build as I get a little bit closer. Just bringing these down for now. Then later on, we go back under the hull and try to make everything a bit more sturdy there as well. It's weird just building a skeleton like this. Or being a skeleton, as I almost said then. It's weird being a skeleton. Should be in range of our EMP, I imagine, but this time I would much rather use my regular weapons because it is more fun. Just see if this one's even in range. Any other enemies? Nope. So far this enemy has not even fired at us. Hello, Grendel. Ooh, you are Onyx. Oh, Onyx Watch mortars. You know what? Might use EMP. Because Onyx Watch mortars are somewhat terrifying. We could just continue with our current plan of let's hit it in the face with our face. And our face has saws. Did we really hit one of its spin blocks? Yep, one of our harpoons is currently spinning around. It's not fire. Oh, never mind. It is very much firing. Is there any way we can avoid this when we're this close and attached? Probably not. I think just continue forwards and hopefully we'll land a hit before it destroys us. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was. Hello. Ow. Oh! How did I survive that? Still though, hard to see what's really going on here. Trying to be a little bit dodgy here, so I'm not constantly being hit by the mortars. We can't just try and capture this thing. Its mortars can fire basically point blank. Yeah, this is a case where the EMP should have been used. 2 damaged, and sinking because we're kind of on top of it. There we go. Only minor damage sustained to our spin blocks. And goodbye. We'll be accepting those resources now, thank you very much. Still 6,000. Didn't lose too much. Clearly we still need to finish off the front here. God, everything's unfinished. Okay, I think I'm going to go to a more difficult area. As much as it is fun just bullying the smaller craft, I do want to be more at risk. Saying that, almost died to the cram cannon. I don't know how this managed to survive, honestly. Well, it knocked off almost all of it. I've just healed it now. But still. Oh, good. The next enemy is a Marauder. We need to test the EMP versus the Marauder. Behold the EMP swarm. Behold the cram cannon shot. Hello. That did. Oh, no, definitely turned off the weapon. Just took a second. Didn't turn off its AI, though. That's annoying. Okay, go back to the harpoons so we can capture this thing. Now we don't want to outright destroy it, so let's turn off our engines. Oh, that's going to be drawn right into the front anyway, isn't it? Oh, dear. Yeah, that cram's definitely off, but that's going to just smack right into us. Sorry, there's no way I can stop this now. As I bounce to try and get a better look. Yeah, that front's gone. Nope, so we're not ramming it so hard that's outright destroying it, so we could perhaps... Ooh, good. Looks like some of our harpoons have been let go. So what we need to do is hit it from the side, because that's where the AI is... Well, it's located in the center, but if we hit it from the side, we have a better chance. Oh, stop trying to turn to face me! You don't have any gun left! Let's fire 3 EMP missiles. That's gonna be so difficult. The AI is like in the middle of a load of wood. Which is very... AI resistant. And by AI resistant, I meant to say EMP resistant. Gently. Very gently, let's just carve away a little bit. Like you're carving a turkey or performing heart surgery. Though generally, I guess you don't really carve away at the heart. Ooh, back. Did that work? Did we do it? I think so. Let's get a little bit closer so I don't drown. Oh, nope, too much. Nope, the patience are gone up. Oh, I think just destroying them is so much more fun. Okay, let's go to a red portal. No, let's finish spending the resources I have. Then we'll go to a red portal. Okay, I've just set up a really simple roll PID. It is really just the basic PID. So if I go with this, and this... Now these are quite badly placed. They're way too close to the center of mass here, but that should already be working to try and make us a bit more stable. Rolling is a really big problem with this craft. Right now it's still way too top heavy and way too narrow. What we need to do is still increase the width of this thing, really. Also, I'm not sure how I'm going to start adding the weapons now down the spine section since I've built this up so much. So I think I'll end up doing, most likely, is actually breaking this back down as I get more resources so I can put down cram cannons and other main weapons. But I think I'm going to need a bit more resource to make that happen. So for now, I think I'm going to go down to about 60,000 resources. That way we still have plenty for repairs. Because remember, we need to repair our craft as it takes damage. If we can't repair it, we lose. So as long as I have about 50% of the cost of the craft in materials, I'm happy. There's an enemy hitting me with a particle cannon. So we broke its brain. Adding some more RTGs to the back, that'll keep our batteries nice and stocked. It's going to add some more batteries, increase the engine power. Then finally I'm going to start working on the harpoons. I think, really, right now, all we need is survival and a better ramming ability, so I'm going to add just way more harpoons, way more engine power, and way more winches to all of the harpoons I'm adding. That way, we can really, really do some damage. Because I can't decide how I'm going to add normal weapons to this. Eventually, we're going to need that, because we're going to come up against enemies, which are going to be way too strong. Though it seems really easy right now, we're in the easiest zone. We're gonna see very scary things as soon as we start going through more red portals, which is my goal after this video. Okay, whatever just hit us really hard, so... yeah. Vengeance. Just gonna move a little bit there, out the way of the cram. We are after a... Oh, you, hello. Tiny, tiny little craft. Was that a waste of ammo? Yes. Well, it's gonna work better when it's hitting things from the front, obviously. Sure, we destroyed some of our own stuff, but we still headbutted a plane. Again. Okay, so these are the final versions. They have a tiny little bit of EMP on them, but not all that much. And they have some more cable, so these things can go much further away than the original variant of the new version, so the original new version. Sure, let's go with that. Kind of looks like a squid now, a little bit Cthulhu-esque. Well, it's different. Well, for now, since we have this weird spine kind of built up, let's use it for something. Expect drastic changes to the back here. This by no means is how this is going to end up looking. Lovely. So, if something's trying to tail us, we do have a lot of anti-air capability now at the back, although it isn't particularly well armoured. For now, this is it. We are running out of resources. Like I said before, we need at least 50%, really. Oh. Oh, hello. Well, you gave me quite the startle. Oh, dear. Well, suddenly I'm realising that I need to get down into the armoured section. Thank you very much. You do almost no damage on the upside. Problem is, the weapons I currently have can't really fire point blank. What am I doing? I can ram the thing next time it comes around. So apparently, without me really seeing, yeah, we have turned it off. That's it, you better run away. Apparently one of the EMP shots must have just about hit it. Wow, that's much better EMP protection than most of the enemies have been fighting. Its AI is still active. Well, I think it certainly deserves a capture. No idea how it snuck up on me. Clearly I was not paying any attention. I wanted to be a bit more gentle than that, honestly, but, oof. Where would the AI be on this thing? I mean, there's not much space for anything. Oh, I think I just saw it then, yeah, I saw it at the very end. If we keep on hitting where we are, we might be able to take it down. Without... No, too damaged. For a second there, I think it might have said AI dead. Oh, no, we got it. Excellent. Yep, we managed to get it. Receiving. The Volta. Lovely. 9,000 resource, and now we go into the red portal to make things a lot more difficult on ourselves. So, one thing we've learned, point blank, we have basically no defense. Also, our turning's still terrible. Okay, one last thing I want to do then before we go through is just add some internal Deadly Blades for turning. I did add some extra propellers, but clearly they're not enough. Clearly. So with that, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed today's video, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Although this has been quite an easy episode, and currently our craft looks absolutely bizarre, both of those things should be changing fairly soon. As soon as I have the resources to do so, we are still going to be adding way more to this craft and forming it completely differently. I would say it's about 1/3 of the way done how I want it to currently look. So expect some drastic changes, especially to the back here, which is currently just way too boring. But still, I had a load of fun today, and in the next video, way more of a challenge. Probably gonna go straight through one of those red portals to begin with.